Thank you for joining us tonight. You're now with me, Shao Shaminato, for TVS Nightline. We begin with the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin and his cabinet can continue exercising their federal executive powers, as were no clear evidence to show that he has lost the confidence of lawmakers in Parliament, said by Attorney General Tan Sri Idrus Harun. Commenting further on the statement issued by UMNO President Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who informed that UMNO withdraw their support from his government. Meanwhile, Gabungan Party Sarawak GPS is backing any federal administration that is deemed capable at maintaining the political stability in the country. Parti Pesaka Bumiputra Vice President Datuk Sri Stephen Rundi said it was critical to ensure the country's stable governance regardless of current political turmoil.
And we must make sure that we support the government that can stabilize this country. That is our main aim. And whatever is happening, we must make sure Malaysia is stable. Malaysian government continue to be one of the most stable government within the Southeast Asia. That's most important. What the Prime Minister is doing, if it's for the good of the people and this country, we will support.
Singing the same tune as Rundi, PBB President Dato' Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah said the support for the Prime Minister should be obtained from within the Parliament and not outside it.
Pada masa ini, Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri, dia masih Perdana Menteri. Kalau kita hendak menarik balik sokongan supaya beliau kerajaan gugur ataupun Perdana Menteri perlu meletak jawatan atas sebab tidak ada sokongan, ia perlu dibuat di persidangan Parlimen, yang mana usul perlu dibawa, perkiraan sama ada berapa orang yang menyokong, berapa orang yang membantah perlu dijalankan, baru kita dapat betul-betul tahu.
With the appointments, the focus can now be on more important issues, namely the people's welfare in addition to the economic recovery.
And the appointments of Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri as Deputy Prime Minister and Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Hussein as Senior Minister for Security Cluster were deemed timely and fitting. This will further strengthen the government, especially in meeting the current needs of the country as it faces enormous challenges from the COVID-19 pandemic. According to GPS Secretary General Datuk Sri Alexander Nanta Linggi, both leaders are known for their capabilities and responsibilities. Hence, the appointments were in accordance with the great responsibility placed on their shoulders.
Through a statement on Wednesday, Alexander said GPS also described that the appointments was timely, taking into account the country's political atmosphere. GPS Secretary General Datuk Sri Alexander Nanta Linggi said the issue of people's welfare, well-being and security apart from economic recovery in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic should be the main concern of everyone at this moment. He opined that while the country is still heavily plagued with the COVID-19 pandemic, the people are sensitive and observe everything that is happening, including political games that can threaten the stability of the country. The Prime Minister's office announced on Wednesday the appointments of Ismail Sabri as Deputy Prime Minister while retaining the portfolio of Defence Minister, and Hishamuddin as Senior Minister for Security Cluster and retains his portfolio as Foreign Minister. The appointments aim to assist the Prime Minister to manage the national administration and meet the needs of the people in the nation.
Meanwhile, the men in blue are proud to go above and beyond their call of duty, taking on another role at ensuring those who are in need of food will get the necessary aid. Now, those who are desperately in need of aid, fear not, just call the cops. One of the beneficiaries of the operation, code-named Ops Bantu in Kuching, who only wished to be identified as Musa, expresses his utmost gratitude for the kindness of the cops.
Ya, saya tidak menyangka yang dia akan datang sini. Jadi saya mengucapkan terima kasih lah. Jadi saya berterima kasih dengan pihak polis melalui Jabatan Kebajikan lah. Kalau mengikut dulu memang senang, kita sekarang kita nak keluar pun susah. nak beli barang pun kerja tak dapat. Jadi kita harapkan bantuan macam inilah yang kita tunggu-tunggu.
Muta lives with his son who is employed but unable to work as he is currently ill, and his grandson is still in secondary school. He shares that his applications for aids in the past have been in process for months, which is why he has to depend on receiving food aids like these from uniformed bodies, agencies, as well as political parties such as Sarawak United People Party SUPP under the GPS government.
I'm telling you genuinely, this is what you call is beyond our duty, beyond our call of duty, but I'm proud to do this one. Kita pun ada background yang hampir sama dengan mereka. Kita berasal daripada kampung. Kita merasai. Kita tak ada pemilihan yang tertentu. Kita ini semua anggap sama. Mereka memerlukan. Mana dapat menghantar permohonan dulu, mendapat meminta kebantuan yang dahulu, kita bagikan.
Asman says that he is glad to come together with the community and hopes to help as much as he is able to in areas under his jurisdiction. He advises members of the public to not hesitate to get help and note that his team have identified those in need and will distribute the necessary aid accordingly. He told this to reporters when distributing aid to 10 families under Bantu on Wednesday.
And a house was destroyed in a fire that occurred in Miri. Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department Miri Chief Loh Po Kyong said the fire destroyed 70% of the house located in Desa Bahagia.
Dan kebakaran tersebut tidak melibatkan kehilangan jiwa atau kecederaan kerana ketibaan pasukan bomba mendapati tiada penghuni berada di rumah dan punca kebakaran dan kerugian masih dalam siasatan. Dan kebakaran berkenaan melibatkan bilik-bilik yang berkeluasan 20 kali 40 kaki .
No injuries or casualties were reported. The fire was doused out around 3:15 p.m. and the operation ended at 3:25 p.m. The causes and the amount of losses are still under investigation.
Sagu adalah makanan ruji yang penting bagi orang Minang. Sagu ni adalah bahan ekspor utama pada kurun ke-18 sehingga ke kurun ke-19.
Hai, jangan lupa saksikan saya Roga Syukri dalam Legasi Seni hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan MyTV. Hai.
Hello everyone, I'm Iki. Guess what? Rhythm of Borneo will be back for its brand new season. So be sure to check out new episodes of Rhythm of Borneo every Saturday, 3 p.m. only on TVS channel 122 Astro as well as MyTV. See you guys there.
Jangan lupa saksikan Hasil-Hasil setiap Sabtu 1.45 petang hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro and My Preview.
Welcome back to the Nightline with the COVID-19 development. Malaysia's COVID-19 cases continue to surge as 8,868 new infections were reported, bringing the cumulative total to 808,658. Selangor has the highest daily tally with 4,152 new cases, followed by Kuala Lumpur with 1,133 and Negeri Sembilan with 897. Sarawak, the fifth highest of the daily tally with 281 new infections. Kuching district recorded the highest infections with 57, followed by Sri Aman with 52 and Cebu with 40. There are 4 new fatalities reported today, bringing the death toll to 428. Meanwhile, 426 patients had recovered from the infection. The State Health Department had identified 1 new cluster, dubbed the Pagar Serian cluster in Serian. However, 1 cluster has ended, dubbed the Bunut cluster in Muka, after no infection reported in the past 28 days. There are 97 active clusters, where 17 of the clusters recorded additional cases. Matu district now turns to yellow zone from orange, where it had only reported 18 infections in the past 14 days. And Sarawak detected its first confirmed case of COVID-19 involving the B1617 Delta variant. Additionally, the Beta and Theta variants had also been detected in the state. According to a statement from the Institute of Health and Community Medicine, IHCM of the University Malaysia Sarawak, UNIMAS, the Delta variant case is classified as import B and was first detected on a 56-year-old male on June 18. IHMC Director Professor Dr. David Pereira said the detection was the result of UNIMAS' ongoing tracking aid surveillance of the SARS-CoV-2 variants in the state. According to Dr. Pereira, a cumulative total of 59 cases involving variant of concern VOC and a variant of interest VOI had been detected in positive cases up to June 26. The Delta variant was first detected in India, while the Beta was first detected in South Africa and the Theta in the Philippines. 34 cases of the Beta variant were detected in Kuching, 3 in Bau, and 1 each in Lundu, Serian, Simunjan, and Cebu. 3 other cases were categorized as import B under the same variant. As for the Theta variant, 6 cases had been detected in Kuching and 7 in Kota Samarahan, and 1 for the Eta B1525 variant, which was an import A case. And following the suspected African swine fever outbreak in Sarawak, Deputy Chief Minister Tan Sri Dato' Amar Dr. James Jermut Masing reminded pig farm operators to take necessary precautions to avoid being carriers of the deadly disease.
According to Masing, pig farmers are to avoid feeding meat scraps to their pigs and to use separate clothing and footwear around pigs, noting that while it is not harmful to humans, it is devastating for the livestock industry. They are also reminded against moving sick pigs off their farm or to use meat from sick pigs, as well as to report any illnesses or deaths to the Animal Health Service. Earlier, Masing was briefed regarding the African swine fever situation in the state by the Department of Veterinary Services, TVS Sarawak. According to DVS, the African swine fever that has been suspected in Sarawak may have originated from neighbouring Kalimantan and Sabah.
On the other hand, the Education Services Commission, SPP, has been urged to ensure that at least 1% or 187 people out of the 18,702 teaching vacancies available under the special one-off recruitment exercise are from qualified persons with disabilities. This aims to assist the Ministry of Education in achieving the 1% policy target of employment opportunities for PWDs in the civil service and at the same time provide a good example to the private sectors.
Senator Datuk Ras Adi Baradzi pointed out that it was also in line with the practices adopted in developed countries such as Australia, when persons with disabilities are given the widest possible opportunity to venture into various fields, including education. Commenting further, she said 1% PWD policy in the public sector was introduced in 1988, with its implementation through the Service Circular in 2008 and 2010. However, so far only 4 ministries had PWD staff in excess of 1%.
On another good news for tonight, Sarawak is on the right track in the effort to handle the COVID-19 pandemic before the second phase of the country's National Recovery Plan. Minister of Utility Datuk Sri Dr. Stephen Rundi Utom said many states have transitioned to the second phase of the recovery plan and hope Sarawak will follow suit.
With that, you can see the figures quite in tandem with what we are doing. So that is a good sign. Our going to phase 2 will be, our threshold will be, the figure should be around 353. Yesterday you saw 289, before that 286. We are still below that, so the SDMC is looking at how can we ease our SOP in terms of economy and so on. Opening of maybe a lot of things for the economic activities.
As of Thursday, more than 60% of Sarawakians had been vaccinated. Out of the total, 1.2 million to 1.3 million of them had received their first dose, while another 20% received their second. Rundi said by the end of August, 85% of individuals aged 18 and above will be vaccinated. In the same development, Cebu is on the right track to administer 8,000 COVID-19 vaccine doses on a daily basis. As such, the number of vaccine doses administered have surpassed the division's immunisation registry to date.
Semalam adalah yang paling tertinggi dalam rekod. Kita telah dapat memberi vaksin lebih daripada 8,000. Mengikut apa yang kita perolehi data, yang paling berita yang paling baguslah, iaitu yang jumlah yang kita register dengan jumlah yang kita telah beri vaksin lebih daripada jumlah. Jadi sebab itu program outreach ni itu cucuk dahulu, mendaftar kemudian adalah satu pendekatan yang baik sehingga Sarawak dapat memberi vaksinasi yang begitu tinggi sekali.
And Sarawak contributed a total of 1 million ringgit to the Palestine Relief Fund, which was entrusted to the Department of Islamic Development, Malaysia. Assistant Minister in the Chief Minister's Department for Islamic Affairs and DBKU, Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, said this is the effort and cooperation of the Sarawak Islamic Council, Muslims and corporate bodies in the state.
Sumbangan tabung keamanan Palestin daripada umat Islam Sarawak untuk disampaikan kepada rakyat Palestin di negara Palestin hasil daripada kutipan yang kita laksanakan selama ini berjumlah 1 juta ringgit dan disampaikan kepada Yang Berhormat Datuk Senator di Security.
Rahman Junaidi expressed his appreciation to the Muslims in Sarawak for coming together to help Palestine. The presentation ceremony was held virtually, which was officiated by the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Senator Dr. Zulkifli Muhammad Al-Bakri. At the same time, Dr. Zulkifli said the pure efforts of Muslims in Sarawak have shown signs of solidarity and high concern in helping the Palestinian people who are struggling to defend their country at this time. Last Ramadan has seen hundreds of lives in Palestine destroyed, property damage and homelessness after being ambushed by Israeli Zionists. On to the next update. The Human Resource Ministry has received over 5,000 complaints through the Working for Workers WFW application on various labour issues, especially not allowing employees to work from home. Its Minister Datuk Sri M. Saravanan said although warnings had been issued to errant employers, the complaints are still coming in, adding that the ministry was acting on the complaints. He said most of the complaints were on employees being forced to come in to work. As of yesterday, 5,177 complaints have been received nationwide since the application was introduced on May 3rd. Commenting further, he said it was not necessary for workers to go to the Labour Office to lodge their complaints, as complaints made directly through the WFW application would be acted on immediately within 7 days.
My name is Sim Kun Hyung. I'm a restaurant owner, gym owner, and a personal trainer. So I've been in this industry for around 18 years, specific on ladies fat loss program, ladies training on gym weight training and the fat loss course and the nutrition program. Yeah.
Aku Priscilla John.
Aku Studawi.
Anda nak ingat gula dengan kami duai bak program Panggal Kitai.
Nanti hari Minggu pukul 3 lemai bak TVS channel 122 Astro ngau My Preview. Berperandau Seraya berperindang.
Jangan lupa saksikan Nembiak Toronto setiap Sabtu jam 11.15 pagi hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Akan ber-16 items happy beranak bak tandang menua pukul pada ingat kita yang mereka terutama di madah kecaranya and we can see
Salam sejahtera.
Warnailah hidupmu, tampilkanlah bakat baru. Sarawak pasti maju, menginspirasi duniamu.
Thank you for staying with me. Now on to world affairs. South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma has handed himself in to the police for contempt of court, ending a week-long legal drama over a court order for his arrest. Police had been ordered to arrest Zuma if he did not turn himself in by the end of Wednesday. The Constitutional Court sentenced Zuma to 15 months in jail last week after he refused to comply with a corruption inquiry back in February. Zuma denied widespread corruption under his presidency. Hundreds of his supporters, some of them armed, gathered nearby his rural estate to try and prevent his arrest. But in the end, Zuma decided to go quietly. Zuma denies there was widespread corruption under his leadership. On Sunday, he has struck a defiant note, lashing out at the judges and launching legal challenges to his arrest. And 4 German slackline walkers rigging and crossing a 2.1-kilometer long line at a height of 600 meters in a U-shaped valley in Swedish Lapland. The new world record stands at 2,130 meters and was set on Saturday, July 3rd. Highlining is a team sport and a world record is shared among those taking part in the project, including those rigging the rope. The highliners were wearing watches with GPS trackers to measure and verify the distance walked between the 2 anchors.
This is hard because it's really exposed. It's 600 meters high. It's 2,150 meters. And it's really windy here sometimes, and just getting everyone here is really far out to get it all organized. It's been a major challenge.
Quirin Herderick made it across the line without falling, and he was followed by his compatriots Lucas Ermler, Ruben Langer and Freddie Kuhn. Others on the team also tried to break the record and failed, but others just wanted to test to walk on the line. It took the team 2 days of hard work to rig the line, always mindful of the weather. They set up camps on the 2 mountain tops and pulled the line across by walking down from one side and flying down a rope with a drone from the other side because it was too steep to descend by foot. Laporten, or the Laponian Gate, is located just outside Abisko National Park inside the Arctic Circle and is a popular hiking destination. And U.S. diplomats and troops in Iraq and Syria were targeted in 3 rocket and drone attacks in the past 24 hours, including at least 14 rockets hitting an Iraqi airbase hosting U.S. forces.
While there were no immediate claims of responsibility for the attacks, analysts believe they were a part of a campaign by Iranian-backed militias. Iraqi militia groups aligned with Iran vowed to retaliate after U.S. strikes on the Iraqi-Syrian border killed 4 of their members last month. Meanwhile, 2 American service members were wounded in the rocket attack on the Ain al-Assad air base in western Iraq. Earlier, 2 rockets were fired at the U.S. Embassy inside Baghdad's Green Zone early on July 8th. The embassy's anti-rocket system diverted one of the rockets, while the second rocket fell near the zone's perimeter. Sirens blared from the embassy compound inside the zone, which houses government buildings and foreign missions. In Syria, the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces said no damage was done by a drone attack on the Al-Omar oil fields in an eastern area bordering Iraq, where U.S. forces came under rocket fire but escaped injury on June 28th. The Pentagon said a drone had been brought down in eastern Syria and that no U.S. service members had been injured and there had not been any damage. Iraqi army officials said the pace of recent attacks against bases hosting U.S. forces with rockets and explosive-laden drones was unprecedented. Meanwhile, 3 rockets also landed on Ain al-Assad on Monday without causing casualties.
We wrap up the Nightline with this story. A remarkable day in history as a zoo in northern England welcomed a baby Sumatran orangutan on June 19th. The baby was born to mum Emma and dad Pulo. The zoo says that the arrival of the baby is incredibly special, as there are only about 14,000 of them left in the wild. Chester Zoo specialist Claire Perry stated that the youngster is a vital boost to the International Conservation Breeding Program, which is working to ensure safety net population for the critically endangered animals within the world's most progressive zoos. The Sumatran orangutan is one of the world's most endangered great apes, threatened by hunting and illegal logging. And that story wraps up TVS Nightline for tonight. And as always, thank you for tuning in to your local news tonight. Here with me, Cheryl Shuminato, and I'll see you next time. Have a good morning.